I want you to meet now a young man who's doing something that hasn't been done before. More than 300 people have run across the United States. Nobody's run the length of Africa. And this young man is certainly doing that. Now consider, let me just give you an idea of some of these statistics. 9,000 miles to cover. This is from Cape Town to London. He started in August of this year. 9,000 miles to cover, 53,400 meters of elevation, 8 times the height of Everest, in case you were wondering. Temperatures likely to exceed 40 degrees centigrade, and the requirement to run roughly a marathon a day every single day. It's the three, he's done it before, and the magic number is 381, and I'll get him to explain that in just a moment. Deo Kato, 381 days, joins me now from where I spent a lot of my childhood in Tanzania. Ko, you're Ugandan, you're based in London. Let me first thank you, because I understand you got food poisoning, as we would say in Tanzania, matata mingi sana.
Food poisoning, I got it yesterday, and I am been struggling, but I managed to get a run in yesterday and today. So yeah, wow. I don't feel too bad. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. Explain to us the significance of 381. A previous challenge saw you run 10 kilometers for 381 days in a row. 381, you're hoping to complete this run of 6,000 miles from Cape Town to London in 381 days. Why 381?
381 is a very significant number in history, looking back in the history of segregation. And so in America, there was a bus boycott, the Montgomery bus boycott, that happened in 1955, which we all know about. Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks facilitated, and then, which was meant to last for one day, but ended up lasting for 381 days. To end segregation on buses in America.
And also there's a significance in you choosing to run from South Africa, which is that area is the cradle of humankind. We know that humans started there and migrated around the world into Europe. Is that behind the reason for you choosing to go from Cape Town to London?
Yes, certainly. That's exactly the reason why. So, during my research, I've discovered that there's 3 key areas in Africa where we discovered the earliest people in the world. And one is Cape Town, and then in East Africa, and then in Algeria as well. So, the reason why I'm going to be following that route all the way from Cape Town and actually East Africa, going back to my homeland, and then go up to Algeria.
Wow. But the actual, when I just reeled off some of the figures there, 9,000 miles to cover, the different heights, the temperatures, and you're running, how far are you running? Roughly what, a marathon a day?
Yes, it's a marathon a day on average. Sometimes it could be more, depending on where I'm running. So the other day I had to run through the national park, where I had to do a full 50K just to go through the national park, and I don't have to go back in there again, just because of the wild animals I would be experiencing. And sometimes it would be less, just like today, because I had food poisoning.
Oh, gosh. And so do you have people with you? I mean, I remember, whereabouts in Tanzania are you at the moment?
I'm in a very small village called Visa. It's a very, very small village in the western side of Tanzania.
Because I grew up in Dodoma, so I know Dodoma, Mwanza, Arusha, all around there. And I remember you must have people with you, because I'm just thinking, running through the wildlife parks, I mean, you'd be like lunch running through there, wouldn't you?
Yes. I have support crews. I have another person who goes with me. So we have the car. He will be driving the car behind, and then we either behind or in front to guide me to go through. And then if it's something like going through the national park, then we work with the national park itself and get a park
Right.
ranger or a guide to support through that section.
I was going to say, how many pairs of shoes would you go through? I mean, you must be wearing so many sets of trainers. You must be, never mind about blisters and things like that. It must be taking a wear and tear on your body, apart from the food poisoning you've got so sadly.
Yes, the shoes are quite a lot actually, because the terrain running through all these parts of Africa changes drastically, and sometimes you could be running on sand, and then the next minute you're running on hard concrete, and everything just changes drastically. So the shoes completely go through quite quickly. I think I have about 20 pairs of shoes for the moment, but luckily I'll probably end up getting a bit more just because it's needed.
So tell me what your normal day looks like. What time do you get up and do you just run non-stop through the hours of daylight? How does it work?
So my day starts at 4 a.m. when I wake up. Due to the changing time zones, it gets a bit tricky because sometimes you wake up and it's bright, and then you change the time zone and then it's completely dark. So I start at 4 a.m. and then I get ready. Then we drive to the point where I finished the day before. And then there, where I start off, and then we have a 40-kilometer run to do. So I try not to run in the nighttime or late evening hours or when it's dark. I try to make sure I run in the day just because anything can happen. And I'm able to be able to see what's going on, and I can see my surroundings. And then finish up the 40 kilometers, which sometimes depending on how my body is like, I'll either finish between 12 to 2:30, and then we come back and try to get ready for the next day, get food, sort out where we're going to be staying. Sometimes we're sleeping on the side of the road in the car, or I could be in accommodation like today, where I am. So it changes very much depending on where we are.
Now, how do you get publicity out? I mean, are you sponsored? I mean, how do you get the message out as to why you're doing this as you go? Is somebody filming it? Tell me about that.
Yes, so I am sponsored by Adidas Terex, and so they're supporting a lot on the shoes that I'm going to be going through so many of those. And then we're doing a film. So my crew who is traveling with me will be recording, doing the videos and everything, and then we put it on social media and all the other stuff we're going to do, like the film itself, which we're going to be putting together on a later stage once it's finished. That will be something that would be popular.
I was going to say you are on Instagram, DEO runs _381 if people want to follow what you're doing. Also, I'm guessing a lot of people say, oh my gosh, you're running in really dangerous areas. I would put to you that probably the more dangerous areas would be cities. Have you had anything slightly scary? Have you had to be worried anywhere in your run? Are there areas you haven't gone through yet that you're a bit nervous about?
Yes, there's been some places where it's been a bit tricky to go through, just because of the hospitality of the nature of the area. I mean, so some people, for example, when I'm running for farms, they're very protective of the area, the farmyards, and people think that you're not from there, so they'll be tricky, and they think that wasn't running from place. However, there's actually some other places where I think it's going to be really tricky to go through. One, because one place is DRC, Central African Republic, which these areas I'm going to be running through. Running through the jungle in these places. So that would be quite tricky to run through the jungle. And then the Sahara Desert coming up much later on next year. So that would be quite worrying.
The Sahara Desert, I mean, running in sand is difficult anyway. Have you planned it so that you hit each region at a specific time of the year? I mean, in Tanzania, you'd be coming up for the rainy season, I'm guessing. So, I mean, you would be running in all sorts of weather, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes. Tanzania right now is very, very raining. So the rain is very torrential. Yes, the day before yesterday, I ran through. Yeah. Yes, the day before yesterday, I completely ran in very torrential rain, running through a forest as well. And then before that, when I was running in South Africa and Botswana, was the Kalahari Desert, which was extremely hot. And then the climate changes all the time. So one point you're in the desert and you're extremely hot, and the next part now between Tanzania and Uganda and DRC is going to be all rain season.
Yeah, it's going to be rainy season, but I'm just trying to think, you'll probably get to Europe in the spring, won't you? Thank God. Rather than hitting it in the middle of winter. You would not want to be running through Europe in winter. Oh, we've lost him. We should say that we were talking live with Deo Kato from Tanzania. So, I mean, anytime that we can get a signal into somewhere, as I said before, it's the middle of the rainy season there. Let me just reiterate, if you want to have a look, and it's really interesting on his Instagram, it's at DEO runs _381. And as I said before, he's back. Just to finish off, Deo, if people want to get involved, I've told them that you're on Instagram talking about that. So you're hoping to get to London when?
I'm hoping to get to London in August next year. That would be ideally about 381 days of running since I started in July. And August will be the day I'll get of the month. Ideally, that'll be in London.
And whereabouts are you finishing? At number 10 Downing Street, or where's your actual finish point in London if people want to be there to cheer you on?
It'll be at number 10 Downing Street, which is the same place we've been finishing whenever I did the running streak for the last 381 days. That's where we finish. And on that day, I'll probably put out on social media exactly when we're coming in, so people can be able to join me. And then we finish the last 10 or marathon distance to right there.
Oh, so you'd like people to join in on that last bit of a run? That would be good. That'll keep you going, because I'm sure it's going to be really emotional after 381 days. I mean, that's over a year of running. It's going to be really emotional for you, isn't it?
Yes, I don't know how I'll be able to handle the emotions, to be honest. But I think that having a community of people joining me will definitely be what I would need to actually get through that day.
Yeah, well, good luck. I've got my fingers crossed for you, and I think you're doing absolutely amazing. I look forward to seeing the film, and I'll keep watching online. 381 days and running ridiculous number of miles all the way from Cape Town to London.